No one tells you this about why people turn cold after getting close. But it's not random, and it's not confusion. It's exposure. You meet someone. The connection feels natural. The conversations stretch past midnight. They tell you things they don't tell anyone else. You feel chosen. You feel special. The energy is intense. They're consistent. They text first. They open up. They say things like, "I've never felt this comfortable with someone." And then slowly, something shifts. Replies take longer. The tone changes. The warmth fades. They seem distant but deny anything is wrong. You start replaying every conversation in your head. You wonder what you did. You become more careful, more available, more anxious. You think, how can someone be so close? And then so cold? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Closeness activates fear. In the beginning, it's dopamine, novelty, mystery. You are both projecting ideal versions of yourselves. There is desire without responsibility. Attachment hasn't fully formed yet, so there's excitement without threat. But once real intimacy starts building, something deeper gets triggered. For someone with avoidant tendencies, closeness feels like loss of control. It feels like emotional dependency. It feels like obligation. Their nervous system reads intimacy as danger, not because you did something wrong, but because their past taught them that closeness leads to suffocation, betrayal, or loss of independence. So when you move from excitement to emotional depth, they subconsciously pull back to regulate themselves, and if you're anxious attachment, their withdrawal hits you like a threat to survival. Your nervous system panics, you chase, you over-explain. You try to prove you're safe, easy, low maintenance. Now the dynamic shifts. The more you lean in, the more they lean out. It's not about love, it's about regulation. Here's another truth you probably don't want to hear. Sometimes they weren't that invested, they were just intoxicated by attention. Early closeness feels good because validation feels good. Feeling desired feels good. But once the chase is over and they feel secure in your interest, the thrill drops. The ego is satisfied. The mystery is gone. And for some people, attraction is tied to uncertainty. When you become predictable, available, emotionally open, they stop feeling the spike they mistake for love. That doesn't mean you should play games, but it does mean this. Intensity at the start is not depth. It's chemistry, and chemistry fades when there's no emotional maturity behind it. Now let's get even more honest. Sometimes you participated in this shift. You ignored red flags because the connection felt rare. You rushed vulnerability because it felt intimate. You overinvested early because you were afraid to lose them. You made them the center before they earned that position. And when they felt your emotional weight increasing, they backed away. Not because you're too much, but because they were never ready for something real. Men and women often process this differently. Many men are socialized to equate independence with identity. When a relationship starts demanding emotional depth, they can interpret it as pressure, even if no pressure exists. Instead of communicating fear, they detach. They convince themselves they lost feelings, when in reality they lost comfort. Many women, especially those with anxious patterns, equate closeness with security. When distance appears, they increase effort, they nurture harder. They try to fix the shift instead of observing it. But here's the key: both genders confuse emotional intensity with compatibility. Real compatibility doesn't fade when vulnerability increases, it strengthens. If someone becomes cold after getting close, one of three things is happening: they fear intimacy, they got what they wanted and stopped valuing it, or they realized the fantasy doesn't match reality and don't have the courage to say it. None of those are things you can fix by loving harder. The biggest mistake people make in this situation is trying to restore the early version of the connection. They try to become more attractive, more understanding, less demanding. They shrink themselves to bring warmth back. But cold behavior is data. It tells you their capacity. It shows you their emotional ceiling. It reveals whether they can handle depth without retreating. And here's the painful shift in perspective. When someone turns cold, it's not always rejection. Sometimes it's exposure of their emotional limits. Exposure of your attachment wounds, exposure of a dynamic that was built on excitement instead of stability. You thought closeness meant security, but for emotionally immature people, closeness means accountability. It means consistency. It means showing up even when the thrill fades. Not everyone wants that. The mature response is not to chase warmth. It's to observe patterns. If someone pulls back once, communicate calmly. If they pull back repeatedly, believe the pattern. Stop trying to decode mixed signals. Mixed signals are clarity in disguise. If they wanted to stay close, they would protect the connection instead of protecting their distance. The silent advice here isn't to detach emotionally or become cold yourself. It's to slow down your investment. Match energy. Watch consistency. Let time reveal character. Closeness should feel grounding, not destabilizing. If someone turns cold when things get real, don't panic. Don't beg, don't prove. Step back and ask yourself something harder. Why am I fighting for someone who is comfortable losing me? Because sometimes the real lesson isn't why they changed. It's why you tolerated it, and the moment you stop chasing warmth from cold people is the moment you stop confusing intensity with love.